Good evening. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Wednesday, February 23rd. It's going to be a short video tonight, feeling a little bit under the weather, but got a couple plays for us to look at and a little view of the overall market. As you can see, another big down day on the market today. Again, Libya continued to spiral out of control, and that has given the commodity crooks license to jam the price of oil. They actually got almost to $100 today on the price of oil. Up what? Let's check out the oil chart here. Here is actually that's a 3-year chart. Let's check out just a 3-minute chart on oil. As you can see, since this Libya crisis began, they've been able to run oil up, $14 a barrel. Just an insane price move, but as it continues to flame out of control over there, the rumor mongers are out there. We've got Nomura Securities were out going, hey, we could see oil go up to $200 a barrel on, this Mid-East crisis. These guys are long oil. Same game plan that they followed back in 2008 when they jammed oil up to 147. Irregardless, right now it's taking a little bit of steam out of the market. We've got a lot of fear out there. But, looking at what's out there and how the market has acted over the last few months, really the dip we've seen over the last couple of days, more than welcome, more than expected, and, it's making a lot of stocks nice and cheap. As you can see here on the daily chart, we broke that little trend line there, and we actually broke below the 20-day exponential today. We did get a bounce back off it before another late day drop, but we've got really strong uptrend support just below, let's just say 12K. We've got the uptrend line support. We've got psychological support at the 12K number. Looking at the chart, you can see I've got this little 500-point notation. This is the one I put in when we first got the Mideast issues a couple of weeks ago when Egypt hit, and then we actually got a fat little bounce off the uptrend line and the 20-day exponential. So we could see the same tomorrow. Let's see how the market acts. We saw a lot of strength going into the last hour that's not really reflected in the major indices. If we do see a breakthrough that 12K level, we're probably looking at seeing a 500-point retrace from the highs like we saw back there in November, and that would take us right down to the 50-day moving average around 11,850. That level also marks the 38% Fibonacci retracement from the November low. So we've got really, really, really strong support just below us here if they are able to go after the market a little bit more. But we do have RSI back to the 50 level, and I did mention in the chat room, I think we could see a bounce tomorrow. Of course, it's going to depend on the geopolitical news, but, the last few times we've gone through the 20-day exponential, we've seen the powers that be come in and bounce the market back. If we check out the 15-minute chart, it's been a long time since we've seen this kind of vertical drop-off on the 15-minute chart on the Dow. So, it was more than overdue, making a lot of stocks nice and cheap for us. But for right now, actually, let me finish off on the SMH. SMH, we did break through the 20-day and the uptrend line support today on another gap down. Hewlett-Packard's earnings really didn't help there, but, wouldn't have mattered. With the way the market was acting, this breakdown was inevitable. We've got really strong support at the 50-day moving average at, let's say, $34. So we've got RSI at the 50 mark. Let's check out Stochastics. Stochastics also at the 50 level as well. So typically when I see bull moves, that is the level on the indicators that I'd look for a bounce back. So let's see what happens here tomorrow. Anyway, the focus, of course, has been on oil stocks, and oil stocks were on fire today. Well, actually, the low float oil stocks were on fire, and those that were shadily oil as well. Here we have BDCO. Look at the run this turd had today, up in the 7s. Let's check it out. Technically, this was day 3 of the run, but, probably tomorrow is day 3. Really low float. Probably unlikely that you'll be able to get any shares, but I'd be very surprised if we don't see this one $5 and under within the next few days. Even if you're not able to short it, classic 3-day pop short setup here. So stick it on your watch list. and see how this short trade develops over the next couple of days. Now, RAME, this is an oil play. We were a little bit early on this one, as we usually are. Got a nice little snapback bounce today. And in after hours, another one of these little oil plays, low flow play, ROYL. Look at this one. Check out the move on this one. They have no revenues, $2 million last quarter. Really doesn't matter. It's got oil in its profile and it's a low float, and that's really all traders care about right now. Likely we see that start to flow down to the real oil stocks over the next couple of days if the price of oil and the Libya crisis continues. But check out the move on this one. Traders are going to be looking for sympathy plays in a big way tomorrow if we do not see a sell-off in oil. And one of those stocks, I think, actually in after hours, it's getting a nice little push through. We got a breakout today through the downtrend line. It actually closed below it at $1.68, so we jumped into some in the chat room right before the close. Looking at it now in after hours, it's at $1.79. Looks really, really nice on the chart. 50 break on RSI. We had a positive MACD cross. Stochastics look good. And this is a real oil company. They actually sell oil and have a lot of assets. So this one's set up very, very nicely for tomorrow. Target on this one, if ROYL is a $4 stock, RAME is a $3 stock easily. I'm not saying it's going to $3, but it means we've got it at the bottoms, which is where we like to buy these kind of stocks, and it's very likely the momentum is going to continue. There are very, very few oil plays left. I posted that oil list of all the stocks that are under $3 in the chat room yesterday, and all the big winners of today were on that list. So, peruse that list at your pleasure. We've got a couple of them we jumped into. I hate the stock. I got to say it. We've played it a couple of times. It hasn't moved. But, this is a legit oil play. Like I mentioned in the trading alert, they've got a deal with a large NYSE, New York Stock Exchange listed oil company, a joint venture. So they've got real oil assets. You've got a legit company coming in and doing a deal with them. A lot of financing issues on this one over the last month, which is why it was unable to break out the couple of times we played it. But, the stars have aligned for DEJ. If this stock cannot run in this environment, it ain't ever going to run. That's all I got to say. So it's worth throwing a little bit of coin at this one. Breakout is 33 cents. First target is the downtrend line at 37 cents. We've got a lot of other dirty, crappy oil plays significantly higher than DEJ. This one's at the bottom. I like the risk reward, especially if we're going to see those whack jobs who were chasing those garbage low float oil plays start moving down the ladder. Because remember, there's very few of these stocks. There's only like 15 oil plays trading under $2 right now. They will all get hit if this momentum continues. RSI up through 50. Positive MACD cross today, which is like what we like to see. And Stochastics, nice bounce off 20. So looking good on this one. TIV. This is one we jumped into in the chat room. We've played it in the past. They are an oil company based in California. And the angle here is ROYL, which I showed you previously, is also a California-based oil company. Here we've got this oil play, rock bottom, decent risk reward. If it's able to break through 50 cents tomorrow, it could be off to the races on this one, especially if the chasers that have been chasing the other higher price stocks start moving down the ladder. RSI trying to break 50. Stochastics nicely oversold. Decent risk reward on the momentum that is in the sector right now. Quick mention on SUF. The pennies have not been in vogue lately, but if and when they do, this is a definite play. Remember, SUF has technology that makes poor quality crude oil better. Their technology upgrades crude oil. We're about to get a positive MACD cross on this one. It's trading at the bottom. If it gets a break of 16 cents, we probably need volume of, 5 million plus to really light this one on fire. And, if the traders finally find this one, a move up to the 200-day moving average with continued oil momentum is not out of the question. Stops, 1 cent below at 13 cents. Last but not least, on the oil theme, keep an eye on LEI tomorrow, Lucas Energy. You know, the peers, those low float oil plays that are on fire today, like PDO and ROYL. LEI always manages to join in the run on this one. It's trading at a bottom. They produce oil. RSI is about to break 50. Also, it's a low float. There's only 9 million shares on the float here, and that's pretty much been the theme on a lot of the big runners today was they've got a low float. So this one could be very, very interesting tomorrow on a break of 220. So keep a very close eye on it. Chart looks really, really good. Right sector, the higher priced oil plays are going, especially if they're low float, and LEI has all those ingredients. As for the market and the other positions, high cash right now. Some of the stops, or a lot of stops, have actually hit on some of the plays we've been playing recently. ALVR, IFON, IFON. Then we had ALVR. Stops hit on this one as well. We also had COOL. You know, it's inevitable in a market when you see a substantial sell-off like we have that stops are going to get triggered. But that doesn't mean we throw these stocks away because we stopped out of them with losses. Still watching them. If we get a green market, we'll be looking to jump back into some of these really beaten up stocks. And, you know, on a green market tomorrow, another stock I'd probably look at for a bounce as well would be MCZ. Nice little retrace. I had a fat bid at $1.60 all day today. So, you know, the popper scanner is getting down to where it tells us a near-term reversal is close at hand. Not quite yet, but close at hand. So, for now, the focus is going to be on the small oil plays with an eye to the alternative energy plays. You know, if this oil theme continues, it's going to spread into the alternative energy stocks. So right now is about planning our next sector move. We're high cash. You know, we've stopped out of some of our plays. We've got our eyes on some new energy plays. And we've got our focus looking out on the next potential sector to catch fire. So that's where we stand. Any questions on any plays, feel free to shoot me an email or just send me an instant message in the chat room tomorrow, and I will see you guys there. Good night.